Okay, part two. I'm not going to go through these as much, but this is another book. It's about well and septic systems. I've always been fascinated by that. How to drill your own well, which I've done a couple times. You can do it if the water is shallow enough, and if your soil's not real rocky. But wells and septic tanks are interesting. Here's one. So this is I would call this kind of like a hippie inspired book. It was written in the 70s, and it's basically a book about flush toilet alternatives that people were getting into in the 60s and 70s. And so it's a lot of stuff like composting toilets, and it's actually pretty interesting. Um, anything from a simple outhouse to um, an actual composting toilet, to homemade composting toilets, to also gray water systems. Um, it's interesting. A lot of interesting knowledge in there. And then this was a little book that I heard about. No, a lot of these books are not common, but I heard about some of them from other books and went looking for them, for used copies on Amazon. So a lot of these books are out of print. And then this one was pretty cool. It talks mostly just about septic tanks, but different ways you can make a tank and different ways you can design a drain field and stuff like that. Shows you how septic tank works, how to do your own perk test, the soil percolation test. And there's a lot of neat ideas in there. What to do if you have a hill. You can design a drain field for a hill. If you're on level ground, you might design it different. But pretty cool. Interesting. Yeah. So that's most of the plumbing books. I liked this one a lot. I found this one in my local library a long time ago. 30 energy efficient houses you can build. And again, this is getting into that kind of 70s hippie-ish back to the lander movement, but there's a lot of cool houses and cool ideas in here, and I like that. There's mostly homes that were built by their owner. That particular one has just a hand pump, pitcher pump. Those people didn't have any running water. And it shows you cross sections, how to build the house. This book is falling apart. Oh wow, I forgot about that. That's somebody installed a British toilet with a concealed cistern. There's another cool idea. Somebody sunk an old bathtub into the floor and built a surround for it, like a deck. Somebody used an old antique kitchen range. Then more modern looking stuff. So it's a little bit of everything. I mean, a lot of people in here recycled old fixtures, old appliances. It's like a fireplace with a homemade heat exchanger. That was pretty cool. There was one in here. It's rather interesting. Huh. Shows you how to build a Rumford fireplace. This book is really falling apart. So this was kind of cool. Somebody built their own squat toilet in a bathroom, which it doubles as a shower stall. So the idea is, shower stall with a 3-inch drain and a homemade trap. The sink drains into the trap, and just kind of, it was built for somebody with a very small house. It was going in like a tiny house before tiny houses were a thing. So the idea was to build just the smallest bathroom you can, and to put a sauna in the bathroom as well. That was, they wanted to squeeze enough, have a full bathroom with a sauna and still fit it in there. So that was the reason they did that. But a little out there, but I enjoy things that are a little out there sometimes. And this is where I believe that's a Callivus multrum, or however it's pronounced. I first learned about the Callivus multrum in this book. It was popular in the 70s. I think it's been around a lot longer than that. It was like the Cadillac of composting toilets. But yeah. Pretty interesting. And this is another book I found from the library. Not really much of a how-to book, but it's got lots of pictures. And it's from the 80s, so it's a little bit. You find older stuff, a little bit older way of doing things. This was a project where they took an old house and basically remodeled it. Trying to find a picture of it. Well, that was after they started tearing into it, but and this is one of my favorite things in this book. It was a picture of pouring a lead-cocked cast iron joint. This is actually an asbestos rope called a joint runner that you'd wrap around and clamp it, and it leaves a little opening right there so you can pour the lead even if the joint is a picture of, it's hard to tell, but he's packing the oakum in the joint to begin with. Oakum is like a loose, it's basically hemp that's been oiled. It's long strands of hemp fiber, and you pack it in there tight. This isn't really a construction book, but it's pretty cool. I found it on eBay recently. Lewis Hine was a guy that was famous for taking construction. Well, he got famous. He took a lot of pictures of the Empire State Building when they put it up, but just a lot of pictures of people at work in general. And his photographs are pretty well known if you look him up. This is one called the Slate Roof Bible. I really enjoyed this one. It's pretty fascinating. Yeah, sure makes for a pretty roof. And then this one, I like concrete and masonry. I found that fascinating. So this is another one that I found in the library. Had some pretty cool stuff in it. This is another This Old House book. It's much like the other one. This one is more for carpentry. It's by a guy named Larry Hahn, who's one of my heroes. We watched his videos on how to frame a house when I was in a construction class at a vocational school. And then this one is about cordwood building, which is kind of like laying a brick house, only instead of bricks you're using firewood. So that's pretty cool. I got real fascinated by that. You can even some people put bottles in it so the light shines through. Pretty cool. I like books. I like construction books. I love to research this stuff, and I don't read so many of them anymore. I mostly comb the internet for info these days, but I love learning about this stuff, and that's my builder's library as of now. And if you guys want to see any more of these books, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.